Well, last night, President Cyril Ramaphosa announced changes to his cabinet, but will they do a good job? For some of the notable appointments are Joe Patel as Health Minister, eNCA as Finance Minister as well. Thandi Modise takes over from Defence Minister Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, who will be deployed to an as-yet unspecified position. And Mondli Gungubele is now the Minister in the Presidency. For more on the cabinet reshuffle, we're joined by eNCA's Govan Whittles. So, Govan, of course, we saw these ministers being sworn in today. Let's start with the Finance Minister. Lots of interest there. What's he saying?
Well, he's happy to be in the position and says he has a few areas which are of great concern, among them structural reform that will lead to economic growth and dealing with the money that's lost to the South African government to crime. And then also looking at different ways to inject new growth into the economy. Those are the points that he wanted to highlight. It's his first day, and he's put a caveat on that. He says he wants to go to the office and speak to the people there. But he's made it clear that he doesn't intend on departing from the direction which was laid by the former Finance Minister, Tito Mboweni. That's really interesting. If you look at the public comments from Mboweni in the lead-up to his resignation as Finance Minister, by all indications, it seemed that he was unhappy or at least concerned about the direction, particularly how a basic income grant would be funded in the long term. So a recommitment by eNCA for this austerity budget that we've been seeing. I spoke to him about which level of consultation he would undertake as Finance Minister. Let's have a look.
I bring to Treasury not new ideas. Maybe there's a difference in style. If you recall, when Tito produced what was called the Tito document, it was in August, I can't remember the year. The ANC had to discuss that document September, 30th of September, by that specific year, I can't remember now. The ANC had also adopted that document. So there's no, from an ANC perspective, something called a Tito document and an ANC document.
We saw after the announcement of your appointment, the rand lost 25 cents and then regained it, showing that the market is quite stable following your appointment. And yet South Africans still criticizing your previous tenure in government, particularly as Deputy Minister of Public Enterprises and your stint as MP. What's your response to that criticism?
Look, a deputy minister really does not take full accountability of the department. The test of my capabilities is whether will I be able to steer the ship as a Minister of Finance in these particular circumstances. I think that's where the test is going to be.
And of course, Joe Patel is now the Health Minister. He's been deputy. He's been in this administration for a long time. What's he saying about his job going forward?
Looks like he's really happy to be finally in the driving seat of the ministry. Remember, he was the deputy to former Minister Aaron Motsoaledi and Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi and now Dr. Zweli Mkhize. And Dr. Joe Patel says that despite universal health care and the national health insurance being one of his key priorities that he wants to tackle before he finishes the term, he's well aware that his attention must be on the coronavirus outbreak and the response to it. I asked him about what he would do regarding the integrity of the department and the knock that is perceived to have taken following the Digital Vibe scandal. And he says that he needs to ensure that everyone in his department, in his ministry, know that they can't afford to compromise on the integrity of procurement processes. Says he'll pay quite a bit of attention to that. But he also spoke about the vaccine and says that he's happy with the progress that's been made by the president and that we have enough vaccines until the end of the year, and he'll try to make sure that that process and the rollout isn't scuppered by any other delays. Let's have a look at what he had to say.
Well, let me just say that what happened was unfortunate, and I'm sure it's not my take now to enter into the details of that matter. The President has been dealing with it. Our former Minister Mkhize has also indicated some steps which he wishes to take in terms of that. From our side now, as myself as the political head working with the team in the department, is to emphasize integrity of processes, especially where all areas of procurement of goods and services, which is where our integrity is being questioned. I've got the responsibility to emphasize to all the team members that we can't compromise in terms of the integrity of those processes.
Of course, lots of reaction, right? President Ramaphosa made this announcement at 9 o'clock. We've been flooded with comments. What are people saying?
Yeah, let's begin with COSATU. Their statement spoke to the first deputy president of COSATU, Mike Shingang. He's also the former president of Nahau. A couple of interesting points that he's raised. Firstly, saying that they feel this has been a recycling cabinet reshuffle, same people that they're seeing coming in and out. They're quite interested in the appointment of Ayanda Dlodlo as the Department of Public Service and Administration Minister. And Mike Shingange says that's because when they were in court with Senzo Mqunu, the former minister, and Tito Mboweni, the former ministers, over this 3-year wage agreement, they heard there that the government believed that Ayanda Dlodlo didn't have the right to sign that 3-year wage agreement that the government got out of paying in the 3rd year. And the COSATU saying for them to bring her back into that position is very interesting because they're not sure what the intention is of that. Are they setting her up for failure, or are they expecting her to resolve this issue which initially started with her? And then COSATU going a step further, saying that they're interested in the president's decision to move state security into the presidency, and they believe it's really good for the president to be briefed on local and international state security matters concerning the unrest that's happened, and also reports about international security breaches. But they're wary of what might happen if it's not the current president in office and how that could potentially be abused. Then just quickly, the ANC Youth League, in short, saying, the National Youth Task Team saying that the cabinet is too old. They're unhappy that less than 5% of the cabinet are under the age of 45, and they believe that all their calls for a younger cabinet, for an injection of fresh life into that cabinet, have been ignored.
All right, thanks so much for that. Appreciate it. Govan Whittles. Now, COSATU